What's going on, family? You are in for an amazing show today. Happy Monday. Speaker Success in the Morning. We're coming right at you with today's episode. What's going on? What's going on? What's going on, successors? Welcome to another episode of Speak Your Success in the Morning. Today is August 11th, 2025, and y'all already know it's a great day to be alive. I hope I hope your lunch is packed. I hope your bag is packed. I hope you're ready to start off the week. If your kids are getting ready to go back to school this week, I hope that you all are ready to get them out the house, to get them going, and I guess for you to get back to your regular day-to-day lives, right? Without having to chase them around, find activities for them to do, and everything like that. But family, I hope you are ready for today's episode. And y'all know we can't kick off the show without bringing out my co-host. Come on out, producer Britt. Talk to the people. How you feeling this morning?
What's up? What's up? Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. How was the weekend?
It was good. Good. Nice and hot. No work. Chilled out. It was nice. What about you?
You got outside? You got
No, I didn't do
it was
anything.
cool.
Mm-mm.
You just recharged. Just recharged your
Yep.
battery.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's up. That's what's up. I went to a baby shower. Went to Jordan's baby shower. Uh, so that was cool this weekend. Getting to celebrate him and Kayla and getting to chase my kid around. But other than that,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, yeah. And played Uno yesterday. And Uno seems really really long when you're tired. So it was a long game of Uno. So that
Mm.
happened.
Mm.
But
Okay.
that's the high points. Yeah, that's the high points on the weekend. Uno and a baby shower.
Nice.
So yeah, for sure,
Okay.
for sure. But yeah, we can go ahead and roll into it, man. We can go ahead and roll into straight from the source, kick this thing off, get the show moving, get the show grooving. And today, man, to today's text, I had the opportunity to visit Concord yesterday, man. Shout out to Concord, shout out to Pastor Carter, getting to spend some time with the good people over there on that side of Dallas. And as he preached yesterday, there was one reference scripture that he brought up that really hit home for me as one of the focuses for his message, and he just began to talk a little bit about justice and seeing that currently where we are right now as redistricting is now currently a thing, and this is a conversation. And as we know that redistricting isn't something that typically is new, especially not in the southern sector of Dallas, as well as some areas of Austin and different things like that. However, it hit home for us here down in Dallas because when areas are redistricted, then resources are now being needing to be shifted and allocated, and many of those who have been thriving businesses are now businesses that are having to do without. So in the text today that I want to break down in first Isaiah chapter verse 17, the text reads, learn to do good, seek justice, rebuke the oppressor, obtain justice for the orphan, and plead for the widow's case. Learn to do good, seek justice, rebuke the oppressor, obtain justice for the orphan, and plead for the widow's case. In the Christian life, one thing that we never can skip over is understanding that being a Christian does not mean that we can't fight for justice, right? Being a Christian does not mean that we can't do and we should do good for others. But at the same time, in the one version of the text says, bring justice to the fatherless and plead the widow's case, right? Because the oftentimes in the Old Testament, the widow are brought up and the orphan are brought up because they in this sense or in this context they've been left without necessity of life. due to the family provider being gone, or due to the family provider passing on. So understanding that if we are the body of the church, and we are the hands and feet of Christ, understanding that if we see that somebody is without, if we see that somebody is lacking something, and we can serve that need, and we can do good for those individuals, or doing that for the body, then we should do that, right? Because we must understand that if we don't, then who? And then if not now, then when? So the thought for today is just focus on learning on just doing good, right? Because it's not hard if you see somebody at lunch without lunch, and you're eating your lunch, and maybe you have a couple extra dollars, maybe you have an extra snack, maybe you have an extra sandwich. Why not, right? Why not be able to share that with that individual, or with that person? Because it's not hard to be a good person, but sometimes it does require a little bit of selflessness, and at the same time, even requiring selflessness, but taking time to look around you, right? Where is my awareness at, to where I can see that there's somebody that maybe might not need a sandwich, but they might need an encouraging word, somebody that might be down, so that you can now provide for them what it is that they need. But then seeking justice. Being a Christian does not cause us to turn a blind eye to the injustices that are being served in our society day in and day out. Right? Nobody is above going through struggle in this life. However, but Jesus was about justice. Right? Yes, we know him as the lion and the lamb. So there was that gracious part of Jesus. But at the same time, when he saw that they were ready to stone the young lady, who was out there in this time, and they were ready to stone her because they were saying that she's done this and she's had this many men. But he said, well, wait a minute, if you have no sin, then you cast the first stone. So also understanding that Jesus was here for justice, he was here for fairness. So if he's here for fairness, then so should we. And then rebuke the oppressor. It's easy to point the finger, and it's always easy to say what somebody else did wrong, versus as taking the time to say, well, hey, um, I was wrong on that one, right? That's on me, right? So we also want to realize and want to say that we're not above reproach, right? Wherever you are in your Christian walk, wherever you are in your journey, like just remember, fighting for the greater good of the kingdom, fighting for the greater good. What does that look like? Hey, it looks like you being willing to step up and say something in an uncomfortable situation. It looks like you uh, taking time to get with your team that you might be leading, and if something is out of whack, then somebody needs to make sure that something is said. If not, then it falls on deaf ears. And then lastly, obtaining justice for the orphan and pleading the widow's case. Like I said before, in the Old Testament, these were individuals who typically were left without, right? So the way that I grew up in the church, what was that, if there was somebody that lost a spouse, or if there was a child who was brought along by that mother or by that father, and they might have been lacking some resources, then people would swing by their house, and they might drop off a plate, they might drop off a cake, they might drop off a pie. So understanding that if we're all one body and we call ourselves Christians, the Bible actually tells us that we should be known by our love. So how well are you loving? Right? Are you doing good? Are you seeking justice? Are you rebuking the oppressor? And then are you standing on business for the orphan and for the widow? Family, consider those things today. If you're trying to find out, where can I best serve, how can I best be the hands and feet of Christ, start there. We'll be right back with more Speaker Success in the Morning after this quick commercial break. Do you want to feel confident in your skin every day? Introducing Skin Rituals, a luxury home-based skin studio that specializes in hyperpigmentation, acne, and personalized treatments for every skin type. Owned by solo esthetician and registered nurse Courtney Durham, Skin Rituals is all about curating facial treatments designed just for you. Hydrate, brighten, nourish, and soothe your skin with expert care and cutting edge techniques that promote natural healing. Whether you're looking for a relaxing facial or a transformative chemical peel, Skin Rituals offers results driven treatment tailored to your needs. With over 7 years of experience, Courtney's goal is to help you safely achieve the healthy skin that you deserve. At Skin Rituals, we believe that taking care of your skin is an investment in your confidence. Book your appointment today and leave every session feeling grateful for the choice that you made to take care of yourself. Skin Rituals, because your skin deserves the very best. Family, welcome back. Welcome back to Speaker Success in the Morning. Today is August 11th, 2025. We're currently 10 minutes after the hour. And man, it's Monday, man.
Mm.
It's Monday. Britt, you how you feeling about Monday? Because I
I
know some
never
people got
like
to get into a
Mondays. I'm
certain.
not a Monday person. I do not like Mondays. I don't like working on Monday. I don't like doing anything on Monday because I just worked yesterday. Yeah.
That's a quick turnaround. That's
I
a quick
mean,
turnaround.
what you mean?
No, I mean, yeah, I'm saying, yeah, that's a quick turnaround. Yeah, you did just work yesterday,
Yeah.
and then you got a back door. You showing up same spot.
Yeah. It's not
Okay,
that I gotta be up for this and then go to work. So yeah.
fair enough. Fair enough. Fair enough. Well, what I mean, well, how do you like even in that space, like how do you still push through though? Like even despite knowing that, like how you feel.
I have no choice. I mean, I made a commitment, so I gotta do what I say I was gonna do, and I gotta go to work
Mm.
because I gotta pay my bills.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I mean,
yeah, yeah. What? I mean, but something dope happened this weekend. Oh, y'all got to get in the studio, huh?
yeah, we filmed at not the studio. We filmed at Marche's house. Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's a studio wherever you set up everything. You know that you the media guru, and you know wherever you set up lights, wherever
It's
you
an
set up the mics.
apartment. A studio is a studio. We filmed at our apartment.
Man, okay, Brittany, it's a studio wherever you set up equipment, man.
Not necessarily.
What separates the two?
One's an apartment and one's an actual studio.
Okay, Brittany. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What what's on your heart this morning, Brittany? Anything on your heart? Anything you want to share?
No, I just said I don't like Mondays. I'm here. What are we doing?
Fair enough. I was just thinking this past weekend. I was just thinking about the difference between manifestation and miracles, and
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I was just thinking about that because what was I listening? I feel like I was listening to a podcast and I heard somebody say something about manifestation, and I was like, huh. Because I don't know about you, but when I hear manifestation, I think not magic, but like I feel like along the lines of that. Let me see
I
what is
don't
the
think
actual
that.
definition? What do you think when you hear manifestation?
You're just believing in something that you want. That's
Okay.
all.
The definition is an event, action, or object that clearly shows or embodies something, especially a theory or abstract idea. Yeah, I'll take belief on that one. I'll take belief. But for me, when I hear manifestation, I hear the opposite. Like I don't hear. I hear people of faith say manifestation here and there,
Mm-hmm.
but I think manifestation is contradictory of faith.
I don't see how you're believing for something. Just how you're praying. You're believing for something.
I mean, yeah, you're believing for it, but you're well when people say I manifested something, I mean
I just
I
say
feel like
they pray for something when it's
but that's you saying that when they say manifest something, they taking the Jesus out of it. Because me and you have had this conversation before, and you said because you said you knew somebody who was saying yeah I manifested this, and then he was like
right,
did you do it or did Jesus do it?
right. But in my
Yeah.
terms, when people say, "Oh, I manifest," or if I slip up and say I manifest, it's like I'm praying for it. Just depending on the
uh,
context that you're in. But yeah.
that's real. That's real.
Mm-hmm.
Because when I the definition of a miracle, because a miracle is a surprising and welcome event that is not explicable by natural or scientific laws and therefore considered to be a work of a divine agency. Okay. Okay. Yeah. 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 All right. Fair enough. But yeah, I mean, I was thinking about that. I can't. I wish I could remember what I saw or what really spurred that train of thought in my mind. But one thing I will say though is I don't think I've manifested it, but I have seen. I feel like I've seen some miracle action happening. Did I ever tell you about the story when I was downtown? I was downtown Dallas. I used to be a part of this church. It was called the Upper Room, downtown Dallas, and they have like a non-traditional type of like they have non-traditional type of service. First of all, they have four pastors. You never knew which Sunday which one was preaching. All of them name were Michael. It was kind of wild.
That's weird.
Yeah, it was kind of it was wild.
Hmm.
But they used to send people out and we would go downtown Dallas by the train station and then we'd pray for people. They'd send us out sometimes groups of two by two, sometimes four, whatever. And then one time there's this dude, he was like, my ankle. And then there's this guy, his name was Wade, and he started helping us pray for people. We were praying for people, praying for people. And then it got to the point to where then next time he was like, hey, Jonathan, pray for him. And I was like, huh? He was like, yeah, pray for him. And I was like, all right, God, da 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 da, God, please heal this man. And then Wade was like, hey, man, walk it off. How's it feel? And the guy was like, family. All right, sorry about that brief intro. Sorry about that brief disruption. Finish. There we go. There we go. All right. So y'all, when we talk about, like I was saying before, but so I was just sharing just the story of when I was downtown Dallas, right? Because I live out here in Dallas or Lancaster, you know, Dallas proper, if you will. But one thing that I saw what would take place was, yeah. So we were going around, and then the gentleman who was leading us, his name was Wade. And then after I prayed for the gentleman, after the guy was like, hey, you know, I feel a little bit better. And he was like, but do you feel completely good? The guy was like, nah, not yet. Wade was like, John, pray for him again. I was like, Wade, what are we doing? So I prayed for him again, right? And then he was like, walk on it. The guy started walking on his ankle. And then he was like, how do you feel? He said, man, I feel better than last time. But he was like, do you feel healed? Wade was like, nah. He said, man, pray for him again. I was like, this is crazy, Wade. What are we doing? Ultimately, we ended up praying for him a few more times. And then the gentleman was able to walk around on his ankle before he had crutches. Then he was walking as if there was no issues at all. And I was like, this is wild, right? To see this in real time, it was wild for me because, yes, I'm a person of faith. Yes, I believe in Jesus. And just like the Bible says that he is going to give us power to where we can do greater works than he would do, right? The text says that we'll do greater works on earth than he did, which is wild to even say out loud. It sounds like blasphemy, even to say that out loud, if you will. But y'all thinking about that and thinking about miracles in 2025, one thing that continues to reign true in my mind is miracles require something outside of us. Period. And Jesus giving us this power, giving us these tools, giving us these gifts. These gifts that we have, like we have the ability to heal people, right? And I'm not saying like heal from the sense of like being like a natural healer. I know that that's a popular thing, but I'm not saying that, right? I'm not talking about being a healer in the sense of like Reiki or being a healer in like different forms in that sense. But I'm talking about like there are people who may have had childhood traumas. That there are people who may have been in abusive relationships. There are people who have gone through struggle that we may not even understand or we may not even experience at a certain level. However, one thing that we must know, one thing we must accept, one thing that we must move forward with is realizing that you have a gift. Period. Right. And one thing, and I've said this many times, but I'm gonna say it again. But a gift I consider is something that comes easy to you, which is typically difficult to most. Right? A gift that comes easy to you. This could be, you know, maybe somebody who's rapping, maybe somebody who does spoken word, maybe who's somebody who has a way with cameras. They just have a natural knack for technology, so it comes easy to you. But other people are like, how did you do that? Or they just have a certain eye for photos. They're like, well, how did you do that? Did you learn how to do that in school, or what was the process that you went through to learn to be able to perfect this thing or that thing? Like, how how did you do that? And then they're like, I don't know. I just got it. I don't know. Right? This is a gift. And the thing that we have to be careful of is that we never sit on the gift. Right? We never hide the gift because a gift is something that God gives, right? Knowing that He created us before the text says that He created us before the world was faceless. He created us before there was water, before there was ground, before there was people walking on this earth, before there were animals. It was black. Like, what? Like, God, there's nothing on the earth. Like, it's black. Like, it's like when you go sleep at night, pitch black. And He created this earth, but then He decided to put us in it. And then He created Adam and then gave Adam the ability to work the land. But the thing that we accept is that He created us and He gave us gifts. If the gift be through music, if the gift be through being good with people, right? Knowing how to handle people, knowing how to talk to people. Y'all, I want you to double down on your gift. We have what we're currently in August, okay? We're in August 2025, and we currently have, let's see, how many more days in the year? We're currently in August. We have 142 more days in the year. The question that I have for you is this, and I want you to drop this in the chat, or I want you to drop it in the comments, man. But what are you going to do with the rest of the 142 days that you have left in this year? Are you going to take time and invest into your gift? Are you going to take time and learn a new skill set? Hello. Hello. Y'all, I was saying before this year started, I said, I want to learn more about videography, right? I want to learn more about cameras. I want to learn more about what is required because I didn't go to school for videography. I didn't go to school for media. I didn't go to school for podcasting. I didn't go to school for none of that. Okay. I went to school for psychology. Okay. So thankful to God that I actually like people and I actually like working with people and I actually like being able to communicate with people and move forward with people. But one thing that I have seen and one thing that I have realized is that working with people is great and that's a major part of my business. But also the service part of my business requires a different skill set. You hear me? So I told myself, I said, I got this camera and I got my camera in my media room. I got this camera and I'm like, hey, I am going to master this camera this year. So what have I been doing? Since I got my camera, since I got my Canon, I take it everywhere with me, right? I'll film random stuff. I'll film my son running around. I'll film, where did I go? I'll film football camps. I'll film events where I'm speaking. I might set it up for myself. I might set up for somebody else to get that footage. But y'all, going into the end of this year, I've made a commitment to myself that I am going to master videography. Because why? Because the goals that I have in terms of growing this network with Speak Your Success Media and growing this channel, learning and mastering videography will do me good because Speaker Success is a production company. And in order for me to produce anything, I need to have that skill set, right? So that's been one thing I've been doubling down. You might say, well, John, how have you been doing that? So the first thing that I challenge you to do is take some time with yourself, right? Take some time with yourself and you want to begin to think, what is something that I want to improve upon? Okay. What's something I want to improve upon? Okay. And when we identify the something that we want to improve upon, give yourself some opportunity there. Okay. And we're giving ourselves some opportunity because we want to make sure that this is something that we actually have an interest in, a passion in, and a goal for. All right. And when we come back, I'm going to take a quick commercial break, but when we come back, I'm going to break down on what I've been doing and also what you can begin to do so that you can begin to further that expertise into where you can begin to improve that skill set. Right. It's Jonathan Jones. Make sure if you're not a subscriber, make sure you smash that subscribe button. And make sure you like the video and drop a comment down below so we know you're rocking with us. So we know you're rolling. And we'll be right back with more Speaker Success in the morning after this quick commercial break. Looking for timeless pieces that make a statement? Discover the jewelry department where elegance meets craftsmanship. Owned by Miguel Contreras and located at 13505 Mumford Place, Suite 103 in Dallas, the jewelry department is your destination for stunning, one-of-a-kind pieces designed to elevate your style. From classic designs to modern trends, we offer a curated selection that reflects sophistication and artistry. Because we believe your jewelry should be just as unique as you are. Visit us today at the Jewelry Department, where every piece tells a story. And let us help you find the perfect piece that speaks to yours. The Jewelry Department, elevating your look with elegance and style. Find us at 13505 Mumford Place, Suite 103 in Dallas. All righty, family. All right. So look, like I said, last thing I was sharing on, you want to identify what is the area that you want to improve. And let me take a step back. Let me not get too far ahead of myself. Let me take a step back. First and foremost, you got to identify what your gift is, right? And if we don't know what our gift is, we can ask those closest to us. I would say at least ask family or friends. Ask like 3 to 5. I like to say 5, but ask 3 to 5. And then ask them, like, hey, what would you say comes easy to me that's difficult to most? And you want to ask this because typically based on your gift, you want to build up on it, right? With the skill or with whatever that thing is that you want to further improve. So like I said, for me, my gift is ultimately being an exhorter. So like pouring into people, speaking life to people, being encouraging to people. That's the gift for me. Okay. That would be what I would say my that and teaching, right? So for me, like I said, the goal has been to learn and master my new camera that I got. So that's where I'm working. So going into the end of this year, that's what I'm working to improve. But then you might say, well, John, how do I do that? Right? I found the thing, or I found the area that I want to improve. I found the area that I want to grow. I found how I want to move forward. How do I then progress in that area? Two things. The first thing that you have to have and you must do, we must have a level of accountability, period. 2025, accountability is never going out of style. You need to have somebody hold you accountable to where you're doing what you said you're going to do. Or if you're not doing what you said you're going to do, then you have to pay up for it, right? In some way, shape, or form. You got to do something to where it's going to drive you to get a result. That's why I have not been doing that great in my fitness journey, because I have been lacking accountability. I have shared with you all here on the show, but I don't have it to where like it's like put your money where your mouth is type situation. Like I like paying a fitness coach and then making me go work out. That's not been a thing. So I'm starting to get a little chubby in the midsection, but we're gonna work that out. We're gonna work that out. Okay, but you need accountability in that area that you want to improve, the area you want to grow. And I would say get accountability from somebody who has done it and who has worked in that space. Prime example, wanted to learn more about videography. I paid for a video editing class. Shout out to JCI Creatives over there at Greenwood, because Jaron and his wife Kristen, they have an event space. And their event space is a great space, dope space. They had an intro to camera. They had an intro to video, intro to photo and editing workshop. So I paid and then I attended that workshop. And from going to that workshop, then I started looking at, oh, let me continue what I started there, right? And there, there I started taking photos. And then from that point, I came home and I started finishing editing photos. So that was what accountability looks like. And I'm still in contact with Jaron currently. So, this is a brother of mine. So, great guy. And that's helpful. But then in addition to accountability, then you need to also find some resources. Need to find some resources. I'm not saying go out and pay a coach. You can if you feel that's what you need to do. I'm not saying go and invest in a course. Once again, you can if you feel that's what you need to do. However, what I did was, even before I started talking to Jaron, I reached out to my wife said, hey, John, you should hit up Cameron. Cameron Rhodes. And I was like, yeah, I should hit up Cameron because y'all, Cameron is so dope. I hope you don't mind me sharing this. I'm not gonna go too much detail, but Cameron is so dope and he is so into videography that like when you go to his house, he got the movie posters up in the frames in his media room. It's like boom, boom, boom. And Cameron takes it so serious because he works with Right Now Media in addition to doing and shooting like his own content. And talking to Cameron, I was like, hey Cameron, I want to learn more about video. Right? I want to learn more and get better at producing content because ultimately I want to master the camera that I have, right? I want to master that thing. But even further than that, outside of mastering it, I want to be able to have the ability to leverage the camera to its full capacity, right? Like I said, Speaker Success Media is a production company, and the goal that I have for Speaker Success Media is to grow the production company. What's that going to look like? It's going to look like bringing on more podcasts, doing more shows. It's going to look like shooting and filming original content. That's going to look like putting out maybe documentary type content, docu-series type content. Educate, because the purpose of Speaker Success Media is to educate, it's to entertain, and it's to empower. That's why every episode on Speaking Success in the Morning, we start off with a verse from the Bible. And we start off with a verse from the Bible, with straight from the source, because that's your empowerment. There's empowerment in the word. Me and producer Britt, we go back and forth. We laugh, we joke, we kid. Sometimes we play games on the show. That's your entertainment, right? And then the education. That's why we teach on different topics. That's why we share like I'm sharing today. That's what everything is going to be encompassed under those three pillars, right? So if I want to continue to do that and do that at a high level, and I envision families coming to this channel and watching content. I'm gonna do some cartoon type content because I have two baby boys, and I want them to have beneficial stuff where they can watch, they can learn from, and they can grow from. So if I want to be able to do that at the highest level, then I need to be able to expand my skill set. I've heard it put like this before by Myron Golden, but it's be, do, and have, right? Be, do, and have. Who do I need to become, right? In order to go to a new level, right? If that person is a reader, I need to read more books. If that person is a writer, I need to write more. If that person is a speaker, I need to speak more. So I have to be first, right? Who do I need to be? Then the next thing is, what do I need to do? Like I said before, get accountability, invest in a coach, find videos online, and then have. If I become the person that I'm striving to be, I'm going to be elevated in mindset, elevated in finances, elevated in lifestyle. Then I'm going to do those things that will be able to help me to continue to operate in that space. And then lastly, I'll be able to have and live the life that I desire to live. Right? So doing those things and going through that process, then I said, Cameron, what can you, what I said, how can I, what do I need to see? Y'all, when I tell you my boy Cameron sent me over a 4-page long text message that I have so much appreciation for. He was like, John, consider this, right? You want to learn about videography. You want to learn about cameras. So you need to know about f-stop. You need to know about aperture. And you need to know about exposure. I said, okay, Cameron, if that's what you say, I'm rocking with you. So I read that text message. He said, hey, John, start here with this playlist. Then I clicked the playlist. This playlist had, I don't know how many videos, but I've been watching them ever since. It's videos breaking down aperture. It's videos breaking down camera angles. It's videos breaking down lighting. It's videos breaking down all of these things, right? How to shoot somatic, how to shoot in somatic. Yeah, how to shoot in a somatic way, right? So cinematography type vibe situation. So y'all, as he sent me that information, I'm like, oh my goodness, this is so good. Because once again, I didn't go to school for this. So me learning now is on my own dime and it's on the back end. But realizing that for me to build out a production company, I have everything that I need. And if this thing doesn't get built out the way that I desire, it's my fault. If I have team members that I bring onto the team and, they can't show up and do whatever the thing is, I have to do it because this is my vision, right? I can't put that on nobody else. So I need to be able to know how to work the equipment better than everybody else, or at least know how to work it to a point where I can explain it. I need to also then go over here and I need to be clear on what we're doing wherever we're going. If we have a client, I need to know what we're shooting with the client. I need to know what's the shot list. I need to know what's required for that day. I need to know what's the layout, what's the plan, right? Because this isn't nobody else's vision but mine. I can bring on other people. They can embrace the vision, but at the end of the day, they can walk away from the vision. And at the end of the day, it is what it is. I can't make nobody stay nowhere they don't want to stay, right? So understanding that, I'm so passionate right now. But y'all, I want you to really feel this, and I want you to really consider, what is it that's your gift? What are you going to hone in for the rest of Q4, right? What are you going to hone in on? Because we can complain about the president, we can complain about everything that's happening, but y'all, we need to get better as well. We need to improve. We need to improve. Maybe we need to take more time reading our word. Well, not maybe. We always need, there's always more that we can get into the word. Period. That's why I love that I can wake up and now I get this little bit of time back because I used to do my devotionals in the morning. Now I get this little bit of time back. I'll wake up, I'll feed my son, I open my Bible, I read some scriptures before I hop on with y'all. Why is that? Because I know I need to be fed as well before I can feed anybody else or before I can serve anybody else. And also, you got to be, y'all, I got to be faithful with this text. I got to be faithful with this word. So that's first, man. First, we got to identify, right? What is that thing that we want to further, that thing we want to grow, that thing we want to improve in? Because we got 142 days to do it. Period. Then let's get some accountability around us, man. Because if you don't have that accountability, then it's not going to be as fruitful as it could be. It's not going to be as fruitful as it could be. And then after that, man, producer Britt always says it. I've learned to start saying it more. But ain't nobody going to save you. Ain't nobody coming to save you. Period. Nobody is coming to save any of us except Jesus Christ when he comes to call us home. But until then, we got to get busy. And you're saying, John, I need to get better at furthering skill sets. I need to get better at getting accountability. Why do I need to do all these things? At the end of the day, we need to do all these things because the kingdom requires it. Let's go. Why does the kingdom require that, John? What are you even talking about? Here's why. Here's why. When we get to a spot and to a place to where, oh, I got the chill bumps. Praise Jesus. When we get to a spot and get to the place to where people see our gifts and then they say, how did you get so good at that? That's amazing that you sing so well. How do you do this? How do you do that? And that's when you say, man, praise God. Okay, praise God. And they're like, well, what do you mean? Why are you praising God? Because he made me. What are we talking about right now? He made me. He gave me the passion. He gave me the desire. He gave me the zeal that I have for this particular arena, right? Then you get the opportunity to testify. You get the opportunity to share your story to show God's glory, right? My dad always says that. He said, you share your story to show God's glory. And the reason why is because it makes the kingdom even more attractive, right? Everybody has not read the Bible. Everybody has not made their way all the way through it. I haven't made my way all the way through the Bible just yet. However, when they get the opportunity to experience a believer from the body of Christ and they see that believer operating in that gift, and you see the joy on their face, and then you see the passion that they have, and you see the way that they're moving and how they really are just progressing with that gift and with that thing, it makes it attractive. And then that's going to pull people to you. Because some people might say, well, John, I'm not meant for, or it's not easy for me to go and approach somebody and ask them, are they a believer? Or ask them, how can I pray with them? Right? Because you might feel like you are being the hunted, or you might feel like you're being the hunter, right? And you might say, well, I'm introverted and I don't want to do that. That's fine. That's fine. I get it. I understand. It was a while for me before I started going up to people randomly in the grocery store and asking them, can I pray with them? It was a while for me before I started doing that. However, if people come to you and if people ask you, why are you so faithful in doing what you do? And you say, man, that ain't nothing but God working on me. And they say, well, what do you mean? And you say, well, my attitude used to be terrible, right? My anger used to be terrible. I used to show up in a space and I used to be in places and I was always the negative Nancy. I would always bring down the mood. And people say, really? They'll say, well, what changed? And you say, I got saved. Or you'll say, I started to get into my Bible a little bit more. I started to go to church a little bit more. I got connected in my church. And I started to really start living and operating in a relationship with God. And they'll say that helps you change that much. So y'all, at the end of the day, that's why we got to operate within our gifting. But even further than that, going back to what I was talking with producer Britt about earlier in the show, was talking about manifestations and was talking about miracles. That's a miracle in itself. Like really think about that. Think about that for a second. Like you being somebody. I'll make it about me. I'll make it about me. I'll make it about me, right? I was somebody who in college I was living for the party. Period. All right. What is Wednesday? Oh, okay. I'm done with classes. I don't got no more classes for the week. Oh, let's get it. Let's go to this spot. Let's go to that spot. Let's drink this. Let's drink that. Whatever. Okay. I was trying to find a party. I needed to be in that space. I needed for you to call my name. I need to walk in and be like, John. I'm like, hey, what up? What up? Like I live for that. But then it got to a point to where when the party stopped, and then waking up the next morning, being hungover, and just being promiscuous, like I began to see and I began to realize that it was empty. That life was empty. Cause then I'm trying to hit the party the next day, trying to find the next, trying to find the next wave of party. That wasn't it either. You understand me? That was not it either. So realizing that these parties, they provided temporary satisfaction, but they didn't provide me long lasting joy. These parties and women and whatever it was, even y'all, even being in the space to where I got going after I graduated and I started speaking and I'm getting checks for amounts that I've never seen in my life. Right, checks for like 2,500, 5,000. I'm like, what is this? $4,000 to speak? This is crazy. So I'm seeing these checks, but then after I cashed the check and after I paid a couple bills, then I would still feel that emptiness. But then realizing that being in right relationship with God, that is a miracle in itself. For God to work in me, right? For me to make the decision, yeah, I'm rocking with Jesus, right? Come on here, Jesus. Like, let me rock with you. Okay, let me rock with you for real, right? I started to realize that he gave me a sense of peace, like legitimately. Because when I said, you used to have a bad attitude before, that was me. My attitude was trash. You understand me? Even now, if I'm not careful, right? Even now, if I'm not careful, my attitude can get pretty bad. But I also know and have realized that there's grace. So not only do I extend grace to other people, but I also want grace extended to me. So therefore, I show grace, and because the Bible tells us to, right? But even beyond that, like the joy that comes with being in a right relationship with God is different. It's different, man. It's just a blessing feeling, and I no longer have this feeling of emptiness, right? From day to day. Like let me be fully transparent. From day to day, like there are some days I'll wake up and I'll feel down, I'll feel out, I'll just feel blah is how I describe it. And I've told my therapist this because I'm one of those people that believes in praying and therapy. I'm one of them people that believe in Jesus and and therapy, right? It that they're necessary. Okay, both are necessary. Having a relationship with Jesus, that is great, and that is going to do you tremendous good when your time is done here on earth. But while we're going through earthside, Jesus does provide joy. Jesus does give strength, but also Jesus didn't tell us to be foolish, right? If we're feeling down and out, we need to go see a therapist. Go see a therapist. Book somebody to talk to. And if you're not even ready to go and take that step, then maybe just talk to a close friend. But therapists are professionals who have tools, who have experience, and who have the ability to really help you navigate from one spot to the other. So that is a miracle in itself, right? Just being in a relationship with God. And shoot, when I'm talking about therapists, man, shout out to Joe Corley. We've had him on the show a few times, and Joe is my therapist. I was talking to him the other day, and we are going back and forth. I was like, Joe, I was like, you're really good at this, man. He was like, man, I try, man. I said, Joe, you're really good at this. He said, man, tell your friends. So this is me telling my friends, man, if you're looking for a therapist, y'all, Joe Corley is definitely that guy, right? He does the tele sessions to where you can do it virtually. I'm gonna cut this clip and I'm gonna send it to him. But man, yeah, he has been my therapist through some of the most challenging times in my life. Right when I was trying to navigate and trying to get a job or out of work, and then even when I got a new job and I'm getting ready for a baby and 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 just these various transitions, he's helped me navigate really well, and he's held me accountable in these areas. And he's asked me some tough questions and he's made me give him some real answers. And I appreciate him for that. So man, shout out to Joe Corley. His podcast is called Mental Health is the New Sexy. Is that it? Is that Joe's show? But y'all, yeah, so ultimately, right, as we get ready to land this plane, as we get ready to land this plane, talking about miracles, talking about manifestations, man, where do you lie? Okay. And I'm lying on the side of miracles because at the end of the day, I know that without the glory and without the grace of God, I would not have been able to achieve anything that I've been able to achieve. I would not have the vision to do something that is empowering, to do something that is educational, and to do something that is entertaining. So, man, I thank God for that. And if y'all are enjoying this content, enjoying the channel, I would encourage you to go ahead and smash that like button and go ahead and subscribe. Subscribe to the channel because we go live Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. Central Standard to 7 a.m. Central Standard. Producer Britt and myself. And y'all, that's what we're all about. We're all about those three E's. All about those three E's because that is going to help you get through and navigate through your week. And I misspoke. I misspoke on Joe's platform. Vulnerability is the new sexy. That's the name of his podcast. Vulnerability is the new sexy. All right. So make sure to tap in with brother Joe Corley, and he is a licensed therapist, and he does great work, man. Does great work. I'm gonna hit this quick commercial break, and then after that, we're gonna get ready to land this plane here on Speaker Success in the Morning.
Are you a new or budding entrepreneur looking to set your business up for success? Profit Mode is here to help you navigate your entrepreneurial journey with expert education and services. From tax planning and bookkeeping to selecting the right business structure, Profit Mode has you covered. They'll even educate you on how to properly set up your business for building credit so you can grow with confidence. Profit Mode's mission is to provide you with the tools and guidance you need to establish a solid foundation for your business. Whether you're just getting started or you're ready to take the next step, we're here to support your goals. Let Profit Mode help you turn that entrepreneurial dream into a reality with the knowledge and services to back it up. Your success starts with the right foundation. Contact Profit Mode today to get started.
All right, family. All right, man. I hope you have enjoyed today's show. Uh, good morning, my brother. Hey, somebody dropped in the chat. Good morning, Black Sword. What up? What up? What up? What up? Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Okay. Good morning. I like it, man. I like it. Yeah, I like when y'all talk. When you talk to me, I'll talk back. Okay. I say when you talk to me, I'll talk back. Um, but y'all, one thing that I just want to hit on just as we get ready to close out today's show, is that we have to be careful, y'all. We have to be careful. We have to be careful. We have to be careful about our words that we put on people. Man, 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 man. Okay. Uh Man, as y'all hopping in, as y'all tapping in, y'all be sure to hit that subscribe button and hit that like button so that YouTube knows that y'all like this content. But y'all, we have to be careful of putting our words on people. And I'm saying this because, man, this whole weekend, let me see if I can pull it up real quick before I get ready to bring out the final thought. But y'all, this whole weekend has been Shadur Sanders' weekend. Do you understand me? This has been his whole entire weekend. And I'm not mad about it for him. Okay. It's been his whole entire weekend and he deserves it. But there was a clip that I saw, and it was Shadur Sanders. I believe either he was going out of the tunnel or he was getting ready to walk into the tunnel. And he was saying to a reporter, he was like, man, like, you don't never have nothing nice to say about me. He was like, bro, you never say anything nice about me. I don't like it. Like, what's going on? I don't get it. Like, why can't you ever say anything nice? And and the reason why I want to share that is because, man, Shadur hasn't done anything to anybody from what I've seen. Right? Maybe in the background, whatever. And if he has, then that's his business, right? That's his business. But people have been attacking this brother for just something that he can't control. Right? Shadur can't control being the son of Deion Primetime Sanders. Deion. He can't control being his son. He didn't ask to be Deion Sanders' son. Yes, he has reaped some of the benefits, and as he should. That's the family that he's been brought into, and it is a father's job to not only prepare the child for the path, but also prepare the path for the child. Right. So I'm not mad at Deion for doing what Deion does and has been doing for his son. Shout out to him. That's good parenting from what I've seen. Right. I love it. I love how Deion's rocking. I'm not against it. But y'all, like let's allow brother the opportunity to be his own person. Like the same thing with Bronny. And I was a little tough on Bronny at first. I wasn't tough on him, but I was just like, I want to see how he's going to perform because it's just tough to, own up to being greatness's son. Like that's just tough. But Bronny, Deion Sanders, Bronny, Shadur, Michael Jordan's son, y'all, like let's let these people be who they are. Cause Shador showed up and he showed out. And hey, the lights came on, the boy performed. Point blank and period. So watch what you say about people, for one. And two, be careful to look in the mirror. Because people out here trying to cook Shadur. He's this, he's that, he's not this, he's not that. Great. But he's living his dream right now. Right now, he's playing national football. He's in the NFL, the National Football League. Okay. We're not. Okay. We're not. Like, let's be real. He in the NFL, we at the crib. Some of us might be doing our dreams in other ways. He's doing his dream this way and right now. So Shadur, brother, I salute you. I commend you. Y'all stop putting out these bogus headlines about this boy, this young man. He was not going down the tunnel with an entourage. He was walking down the tunnel with his teammates. And anybody who's played the sport can see that. Like, this is normal. Coming into the locker room, pre-game, you got your music playing. Who cares? Who cares? He's trying to get in the mindset and do what he needs to do so he can operate within his gift. The man has invested time. He invested time by working with Tom Brady, right? Coaching him up, training him. He has other quarterback coaches that he has worked with, right? He has showed up. He's studied. He's been in the film room. He's prepared. He's done his preparations. He had a great preseason game. He's going to have more great games. But the off chance that he does have an off game, so what? So what? It's his life, it's his career. Let him do his thing. Family, this has been another episode of Speaking Success in the Morning, okay? I'm Jonathan Jones. That's producer Britt. And family, we're here Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. Central Standard to 7 a.m. Central Standard, all right? We here, we rocking. Okay, Friday, your boy slept in, okay? I did sleep in. I just need to start going to bed earlier because I need to provide entertainment, education, and empowerment for you all. So I need to be in bed in a decent hour so I can do that. But we're going to go ahead and get ready to get out of here, family. But remember, all right? Speak your success, believe in your greatness, and continue to create the life and business of your dreams. Why would you and why should you live any other way? Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We'll see y'all tomorrow.